What if I told you that one of the most brilliant minds in history may have invented something so powerful, so revolutionary, that it simply vanished, not lost, not broken, but deliberately hidden, erased from the pages of history? This is not just another conspiracy theory or the plot of a science fiction film. This is the real-life mystery surrounding Nikola Tesla and a missing invention that could have changed the course of the world. Tesla was not just an inventor. He was a visionary, the man who imagined wireless electricity long before we had smartphones, who designed technologies that seemed to come from another time. But there's one invention, perhaps his most important one, that disappeared under the most mysterious circumstances. And today we're going to dive into that mystery. This story isn't just about the past. It's about the future we might have had. It's about control, about fear, about knowledge that could empower everyone but threatens the few. And most importantly, it's about asking questions, because sometimes the most important answers are the ones we're not supposed to know. So open your mind, get comfortable, and follow me as we explore the strange case of the lost invention of Nikola Tesla, an idea that may have been too powerful for the world to handle. Tesla was alone in his New York hotel room when he whispered to his assistant, "They won't understand what I'm building." It was 1931, and the once celebrated genius was now seen as a relic of a forgotten era. His name still carried weight in scientific circles, but to the public and to the powerful, he was just a strange old man with wild ideas. But that night, something was different. Something stirred in the mind of the inventor who had once electrified the world. He scribbled quickly on his notepad, pages filled with symbols, equations, and diagrams that no one could decipher. These weren't just electrical designs. These were blueprints for a machine he claimed could change everything. Free energy. Not the poetic idea of living in harmony with the earth, but literal energy available anywhere, anytime, pulled directly from the surrounding environment. No wires, no oil, no fuel, just power, endless and free. Imagine what that would mean. No electricity bills, no dependence on gas stations, no centralized grids. Entire cities could run off invisible power. Remote villages could light up overnight. The poor would no longer be controlled by the rich through energy. That kind of invention doesn't just shake science, it shakes society. Tesla called it a magnifying transmitter, but insiders claim he was working on something even more advanced, a device that could extract radiant energy from the very fabric of space. The zero-point field, he called it, a mysterious, omnipresent sea of energy that exists even in the vacuum of space. And Tesla believed he had found a way to tap into it. He had spent decades experimenting with high-frequency electricity, radio waves, and electromagnetic fields. But this time he believed he had cracked it. He allegedly built a small prototype, a metallic box no bigger than a suitcase, that could power a car without fuel. There are testimonies, faded second-hand accounts, that describe a Pierce Arrow automobile in Buffalo, New York, retrofitted by Tesla to run without gasoline. It ran silently, smoothly, and without emissions. No engine noise, no exhaust, just motion powered by something invisible. But that car disappeared. So did the box. And the notes, also gone. Why? Some believe Tesla destroyed it himself, afraid of what humanity might do with such power. Others think the government stepped in. The FBI did, in fact, seize many of Tesla's papers after his death. Officially, they found nothing of significant importance. But if that were true, why were the files classified for decades? Why were they reviewed by the Office of Alien Property, even though Tesla was an American citizen? It wasn't just the government that was watching. Powerful business interests, like the big oil companies and the early utility giants, had everything to lose. An invention that made them irrelevant? That couldn't be allowed to see the light of day. But let's take a step back. Tesla wasn't crazy. Eccentric, yes, but he had proven himself time and time again. He developed the AC motor, the Tesla coil, wireless communication. When he said he could do something, he often did. So when he claimed to have found a way to draw energy from the ether, we should at least listen. Even Albert Einstein reportedly said that Tesla's ideas were beautiful and ahead of their time, and yet the world turned away. As Tesla aged, his funding dried up. Investors pulled out, calling his ideas impractical. He was painted as a mad scientist. Meanwhile, his rival, Thomas Edison, was glorified. The narrative was rewritten. The man who wanted to give the world free energy was cast as a dreamer, a failure. But what if he wasn't? There's a pattern in history. When someone tries to give power to the people, literally or metaphorically, there is resistance. Not because the idea doesn't work, but because it works too well. It challenges control. And that's dangerous. Tesla died alone in 1943. A maid found his lifeless body in room 3327 of the New Yorker hotel. But his death didn't end the story. It started a new chapter. That's when the FBI stepped in. That's when things got strange. The morning after Nikola Tesla was found dead in his hotel room, the door was locked from the inside. The Do Not Disturb sign was still hanging on the knob. But within hours, federal agents arrived. Not just the local police or some curious city officials. No, this was the FBI. The Office of Alien Property Custodian, an obscure and ominously named agency, moved in and confiscated all of Tesla's belongings. They packed up trunks filled with notes, drawings, diagrams, even half-built devices. Everything was boxed and labeled. But not everything was catalogued. Some of it just vanished. Now here's where the story takes a turn from historical fact to eerie silence. Among the items Tesla had in that room, he was believed to have stored several notebooks, personal journals filled with thoughts, sketches, and unfinished ideas. These were never released to the public. Some say they were destroyed. Others think they were quietly taken and hidden away. But there's one document in particular that researchers and enthusiasts alike have hunted for. The missing folder marked Dynamic Theory of Gravity. Tesla had hinted for years that he was developing a theory that unified gravity with electromagnetism, something even modern physicists struggle to do. He claimed that if this theory were fully understood, it could allow energy to be drawn directly from space itself, not solar, not wind, not geothermal, but space, the so-called luminiferous ether he believed surrounded all things, a limitless ocean of untapped power. He described the universe as a vast energy field that could be tuned into, much like a radio station, and that his invention, his final work, could do exactly that. But without that folder, we are left only with fragments, hints in his letters, interviews where he teased at this breakthrough, but never enough to rebuild it. The most chilling part? Not long after Tesla's death, several other scientists and engineers who had been working on similar technologies, wireless energy, zero-point devices, high-frequency energy transmitters, suddenly stopped publishing. Some disappeared from the public eye. Others were bought out or silenced. Was it coincidence? Or was something or someone ensuring that Tesla's discovery would stay buried? There are people who believe that parts of Tesla's work were absorbed into black-budget government programs, projects so secret that even presidents are denied access. Think about it. If Tesla truly created a machine that could pull energy from the vacuum of space, it would mean total energy independence. No need for oil pipelines, no energy wars, no global monopolies. Just a little box, compact, clean, unstoppable, and that would terrify those in power. One former military engineer who worked in classified programs during the Cold War claimed off the record that he saw a device in the late 1950s that matched Tesla's descriptions. A metallic sphere humming softly, with no visible power source. It was shelved, labeled theoretical, and never spoken of again. Another report surfaced in the 1980s about a retired Air Force officer who tried to replicate Tesla's experiments in secret. He died in a mysterious fire. The official report called it an accident during electrical testing, but no further information was ever released. These stories may sound like urban legends, but too many of them echo the same pattern. An invention that could change the world vanishes, again and again. And yet something remains, something stubborn. Tesla's legacy didn't die, it transformed. A growing number of independent researchers, scientists, and engineers are trying to reconstruct what he built, using the crumbs he left behind. His patents, his notes, his obscure writings. They speak of resonant frequencies, scalar waves, radiant energy. They believe the lost invention wasn't fiction, it was stolen. And the question becomes, stolen by whom? The answer perhaps lies not in what was taken, but in what we were told to forget. For decades, Tesla was portrayed as a madman, a recluse, a dreamer disconnected from reality. But slowly, that image is changing. We are beginning to see him for what he really was, a man who was far ahead of his time. Maybe too far. His ideas are resurfacing in modern science. Quantum physics is beginning to acknowledge the zero-point energy field. Wireless power transfer is now a commercial reality. But these are only shadows of what Tesla claimed to achieve. What if he actually did it? What if his invention worked? And what if it was hidden to preserve a very specific status quo? The implications are massive, not just scientific, but social, political, even spiritual. Because if free energy exists and was deliberately suppressed, then we have to ask, what else are we not being told? What other truths have been buried beneath layers of bureaucracy and secrecy? There is something deeply unsettling about silence, especially when that silence follows a discovery that could have changed the world. After Tesla's death, a few names began to pop up in connection with his final days. Individuals who weren't just curious scientists or distant relatives. These were men from agencies, from institutions with vague names and even vaguer intentions. They weren't coming to honor Tesla's memory. They came for the papers, the blueprints, the secrets. He was an MIT physicist who reviewed Tesla's materials on behalf of the US government. His report stated there was nothing of significant scientific value in Tesla's effects. But those who knew Tesla and had seen his notes said otherwise. Why the contradiction? Was it an honest assessment? Or was Dr. Trump under orders to discredit what he saw? After all, if something was found, admitting it publicly could have triggered a race, military, industrial, global. We must understand the context. The world was in the middle of a war. The Cold War was looming. Any technology that could tilt the balance of power would be guarded, hidden, and controlled, especially one that could render all energy infrastructures obsolete. If Tesla's invention worked, even just partially, it would have been the equivalent of finding fire again, and fire in the wrong hands burns everything. Several of Tesla's colleagues and assistants had tried to continue his work after his passing, but they found themselves harassed, blocked, discredited. Some lost funding overnight. Others were visited by men in suits who warned them off. They were told their research was dangerous, that it threatened national security. Think about that. A device designed to bring unlimited energy to everyone, called a threat. This is where the theory of suppression grows roots, not from science fiction, but from patterns. Every time someone claims to get close to recreating Tesla's radiant energy device, something stops them. Technical issues, missing data, unexplained problems, or worse, personal attacks, legal pressure, even sudden deaths. We're not talking about crazy inventors in garages. These are physicists, engineers, respected minds, and yet something always stands in the way. The motive, control. Energy is power, literally and politically. Whoever controls energy controls the economy, the military, the world. A free source of limitless energy would democratize that control. It would disrupt every major industry on the planet. No more dependence on oil, gas, nuclear, no more need for war over resources. Just small, personal energy devices, possibly fitting in a backpack, powering homes, cars, even entire communities. Tesla believed this was possible. He wrote of it. He designed towers like the famous Wardenclyffe Tower, not just for communication, but for the wireless transmission of energy. The tower was torn down before it could be completed. Why? Because funding was suddenly withdrawn. J.P. Morgan, one of Tesla's biggest backers, asked a chilling question when he learned Tesla S plans. Where do we put the meter? That's when everything changed. A world where energy cannot be monetized is a world without energy empires. That's not a future everyone welcomes. Fast forward to today, and we see echoes of Tesla's vision everywhere. Solar panels, wireless charging, quantum theories, but it's fragmented, watered down. No one has yet recreated what Tesla claimed to achieve, not publicly at least, but the whispers persist. Files still classified, patents sealed, experiments never published, as if the ghost of that invention still lingers. waiting for someone brave enough to bring it back. There's another dimension to this mystery, a philosophical one. Tesla believed that energy was the key not only to powering machines, but to unlocking human potential. He spoke of energy fields that connect all living things, of vibrations that could affect our emotions, our health, even our consciousness. Was his lost invention more than just a power generator? Could it have been something deeper? Some fringe theorists, admittedly speculative, suggest that Tesla tapped into something beyond traditional science, a hidden layer of reality, a kind of universal code embedded in energy itself. Far-fetched? Maybe. But consider this. Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." He wasn't just building machines, he was searching for harmony with the cosmos. And maybe that's why his invention disappeared. Because it wasn't just a threat to economic systems. It was a threat to how we understand the universe, to how we define progress, control, and freedom. The further we dig into Tesla's story, the more questions we uncover. What did he truly discover? Who took it? And more importantly, can we get it back? The world has changed since Tesla's time. We now carry more computing power in our pockets than NASA had when they put a man on the moon. We can talk to anyone, anywhere, in real time. Cars are driving themselves. Artificial intelligence is reshaping every industry. And yet, despite all this, we still burn things to make electricity. We still depend on fragile grids and finite resources. We still fight wars over oil. How is it possible? The question nags at those who study Tesla's work. Because if he truly unlocked the secret to limitless wireless energy, then our modern world should look very different. And maybe, just maybe, it still could. Around the world, quietly and often in secret, there are researchers who haven't let Tesla's vision die. From small labs in remote towns to hidden corners of universities, they experiment with coils, magnets, resonant frequencies. They analyze his patents with obsessive care. They reconstruct his lost circuits using modern tools, and sometimes they get results. Strange results. Some devices appear to produce more energy than they consume, a concept mainstream science still dismisses as impossible. Others emit fields that disrupt electronics. Some hum softly and vibrate at strange frequencies. The engineers who build them speak of anomalies they can't explain. Batteries that don't drain, objects that levitate slightly, bursts of light without a bulb. But these discoveries never make headlines. The inventors are ignored or discredited. Their YouTube channels are taken down, their patents are rejected for lack of theoretical foundation. And still, they persist, not because they seek fame or fortune, but because they believe in the possibility that Tesla was right, and that the world deserves to know. One name that often comes up is that of a reclusive inventor from Eastern Europe who claimed to have built a working model of Tesla's radiant energy collector. He refused to sell it, said he'd give it away to the world. His lab mysteriously burned down 3 months later. No one was injured, but everything was destroyed. He stopped speaking publicly after that. Coincidence? Maybe. But too many stories follow the same pattern. Discovery, suppression, silence. And what about the institutions that hold Tesla's original papers? Some of his documents are still classified. Some are held in private collections, hidden from public view. Why? If they're truly of no scientific value, as we've been told, why not release them? Let students and engineers around the world analyze them, recreate them, test them, share them. Unless, of course, there's something worth hiding. But this story isn't about villains in the shadows. It's about a choice we all face. A choice between fear and possibility, between control and freedom, between holding on to what we know and daring to imagine what could be. Tesla's vision wasn't just technical. It was human. He dreamed of a world where energy flowed like air, where machines served the common good, where technology uplifted the soul. And while we've inherited his name, his coils, and his dramatic lightning shows, we have yet to embrace his greatest gift, the courage to dream big without permission. The lost invention of Nikola Tesla may never be found in a dusty archive. It may not appear in a government vault or a forgotten storage unit. It might be reborn through someone brave enough to follow the clues he left behind. Or maybe it's already here, quietly reshaping the world, waiting for the right moment to be understood. What would happen if we finally unlocked it? Would we embrace it or bury it again? The truth is, we don't know. But the mystery itself is a spark, a reminder that somewhere out there, the answers to our biggest problems may already exist. They're just waiting for someone to ask the right question, to think differently, to challenge the silence. Thank you for joining this journey through one of the most fascinating and forgotten corners of history. Whether Tesla's lost invention was real, stolen, or simply misunderstood, one thing is clear: his ideas continue to inspire. And perhaps that's the most powerful energy of all, the kind that lives in curiosity, imagination, and the relentless search for truth. If this story made you think, question, or wonder, then maybe Tesla's spark is still alive in you. Stay curious, stay open-minded. The future is still unwritten, and who knows? Maybe one day you'll be the one to find what the world lost.